we always prefer that they're not sent to anybody else. I had one last night, funny enough, and it was someone had used MailChimp. So straight away it's gone out to about 50 or 60 bloody labels all in one hit.
Wow, this is a new one. MailChimp demo sending. Wow.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, why would you do that?
It's so obvious as well.
Yeah.
As soon as you get a MailChimp demo, you'd be like you say, that's gone to 50 people.
Yeah, so I just didn't even bother opening it. It's just pointless.
Right, today we're celebrating a landmark anniversary. Paul Sawyer has released his 30 years of DJing in February 2023. It's a 30-track collection of original productions and remixes from a truly remarkable career. To coincide with the release, Paul hosted a 30-hour radio show. Holy shit! Featuring people like Paul Oakenfold, Kristina Sky, Seaman and Anthony Pappa. Seaman's been on here. So today, I thought I'd get him on and chat about 30 years of DJing and producing, and his record label Krafted as well, and just play loads of these tracks. I'm well excited to get him in here. Let's welcome Paul in. Hey, dude.
Hey, Graham. How are you?
How are you?
I'm all right, thanks. You?
How's your week going? How's your weekend?
Yeah, not too bad. It's been quite manic, actually, to be honest. We've had quite a lot going on this week already. So exciting things ahead. Yeah.
Good. Excellent. I'm excited to chat and play loads of these tracks. Congratulations on 30 years, man. That's fucking mental.
Cheers, mate. Makes me feel bloody old, I tell you.
Yeah. When we got to 15 years and I'm thinking, Jesus, I've been doing this a long time. But 30, oh my days.
Yeah, I know. You think I'd know better by now, wouldn't you?
That little GIF that I made a while back where I added that of you dancing comes up every year and it always makes me chuckle.
Oh, I know. Well, you know I'm the best dancer.
Yeah. But for those in the chat, basically, there was a video of him DJing and it looked like he was dad dancing, and I think I put. What track did I put under it? It was something like Wham or something.
Yeah.
And it just like literally fit perfectly. Oh, it makes me laugh so much.
I actually cringe every time I bloody see it. That's the only trouble. They do say DJs can't dance, don't they?
Yeah, I'll find it, Loz, for you later. I think it's on my it'll be on. I think it's on my Facebook somewhere. But yeah, it's funny. And Darren always shares it and retags us both, and I think that's the funniest thing about it.
I know. Every year he does it.
Yeah. Right. Before we get into the serious, we always start these streams with something silly. As it's lunchtime, we're big fans of the meal deal here, the kind of standard Sainsbury's or Tesco's or Co-op or Boots or even like a Subway meal deal maybe. And we always think that, we were chatting, like, do you have a go-to? Like, my always go-to was always like the breakfast triple with some quavers and then probably a Coke. But now it's more like a healthy salad, maybe still some quavers because quavers are banging. And then I'll get a Coke, but I'll put it in the fridge for mixer for anyone else that wants it for alcohol later in the week, or reserve it for someone else. And I'll probably just have a cup of tea. But what is your meal deal go-to?
Well, if you actually follow me on Facebook or you actually know me, you know that a meal deal is not my thing. You know,
no way.
Cakes are my thing, and you know that. So I brought 3 in. Look.
Yeah.
Starter, main course, and pudding all in one.
Wow. Wow. What cake have you gone for?
So these are just ice ring donuts today.
Oh, how often do you get the cake in?
Pretty much every day.
What? Wow.
Yeah, we're terrible for it. My dad got me into it. He's exactly the same.
A cake a day keeps the doctor away.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Do you mix your cakes up, or do you have the same every day?
Oh no, I do mix them up. Any cake will do.
Any cake will do.
I'm not fussy. I actually got a message from Just Her actually at the weekend, and she was playing in San Francisco on Saturday. And I got up on Sunday morning, and I was up quite early, like 6 o'clock. And the first thing I had on my phone was Just Her outside the Cheesecake Factory. She sent me a picture because she knows how much I love cake. So,
no way, nice.
Yeah, well, it did make me laugh.
I love it. Oh, wicked! Oh yeah, I like a donut. I was, when you went to my granddad always used to get the donuts in when when you go to like the fair and you get to the fair and you could just smell those warm donuts. And every time now I go to the fair with the little one or go to like the arcade, like one of those like outside arcade type things, you always get there and you smell those donuts, and it always reminds me of my granddad. Because he would just appear, like you'd smell him and then he would appear with a bag and you were like it was super quick. Like, how the hell did you get them so fast? Yeah. And he must have just like arrived and gone straight to the donut stand. It was mental.
Oh, no, it was all about toffee apple for me when I went to the fair.
Oh, the toffee apple.
Yeah, the ones with the red, that red coating on it. Break your teeth.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so lethal, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
They must have banned that, though, these days. Toffee apples must be banned because they must be like, someone moaned about them for breaking their teeth.
Yeah, I expect so. I wouldn't be surprised.
Right, let's get into this. Let's chat 30 years. Holy crap. I want to start right at the start and then we'll work through, we'll play some tracks. We've got a load of, I think we've got 8 from the album's got 30 on them. So I think we've picked 8, haven't we? And we've got some new stuff as well, which is well exciting. Yeah. So let's chat 30 years. Where did you start playing? Where did it start? How did it start? Yeah, go for it.
Okay, well, I actually started off driving my brother to raves, funny enough. So he was a hardcore DJ in the late 80s, 90s. And because he was quite young, I was driving him to all these gigs and just loved the whole scene. And then the whole rave scene seemed to sort of fall apart quite quickly. And house music sort of came about and it was everywhere. So that was really more my thing. So I basically got myself some 1210s, was practicing every day to play. And within no time at all, I was so lucky, I managed to get some gigs. So this was 1993, basically, was my first proper gigs.
Wow.
I played...
Where were you living there? Were you living... Because you're South Coast, aren't you?
Yeah.
Have you always lived South Coast?
Yeah, so I've always been Winchester, Southampton based, basically. The first main gig I got was House of Windsor, warming up for Sasha.
Nice.
And you can imagine how nervous I was. I was absolutely shitting myself. And I actually embarrassed myself because I got my first bit of vinyl on the deck and I couldn't work out why the hell I couldn't even hear it in my earphones. So basically all it was, I turned around to the sound guy. I said, "What's going on?" And he said, "Well, you haven't even put the bloody needle down, have you?"
Wow, that's the nerves.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Oh wow, that is the nerves. That's all of the nerves right there.
Yeah, and then I got asked to come and play in Ibiza basically that summer, and that was just unreal. Carl Cox was resident at the same club I was playing at, and the Prodigy came and played, so I warmed up for them. And I was playing practically every single night. So it was called Star Club then. It's now Eden. And I learned so much just playing every single night in a big club like that. There was, playing 3,000 people every day, basically.
Wow.
And I came back to the UK and I went to my local record shop in Southampton called Movement Records. And I met Gary Benetton. And at the time, he had just started Menage a Trois.
Right.
And he'd basically had heard of me from over there and said, "Would you be interested in coming to run Menage a Trois with me?" So that's when we started up the boat parties. And we had absolutely everybody playing for us, Sasha Digweed, Dave Seaman, Oakenfold, Judge Jules, all of them were ringing us up constantly, wanting to play. Because we had Mixbag on the boat pretty much every month. So Dan Prince was there raving away every single month and writing about us. And so this is why it sort of really blew up so quickly, really. Obviously we were just there at the right time, and we were running that for 10 years basically and touring all over the place, going up and down the country. Yeah, playing 4 or 5 gigs every weekend. So, yeah, mad times.
That's cool. That learning experience of every night in Ibiza, your abilities must have gone from like that quickly.
Yeah. Oh, big time. Yeah. Yeah, because although you practice every day at home, it's not the same as playing to a crowd and to a club. Even the sound itself is different, isn't it, in a club? So
yeah,
also
vinyl there, and there was probably weird delay and from the record to the outside speaker and
yeah. So it was a brilliant learning curve. And I played vinyl for 10 years basically.
Yeah, and you said you got Technics straight away. I think I had. What did I have? I had some weird belt drives. They were like, they were really bad, and they never kept the same speed, and it was so hard. And I had this little mixer, and it was just like had these two flashing lights on it. And I literally taped over them because they were never in time, and they were just this distraction. So actually put this massive bit of tape over my light over these lights. They were supposed to be beat lights,
right?
And I was like, I'll just do it by ear. Because if you look at them lights, they're nowhere in line with what the lights were, with the music was, and I was like, and your eye would naturally go to them, and I was like, fuck this, I'm taping over them bad boys. So my mixer was like taped up, but it just because it was annoying, and that was it.
Yeah. Well, CDJs are a little bit like that as well, though, aren't they? Especially the early ones. There's no point looking at the BPM on there. You couldn't rely on it.
No, it's massively different now. Like you put it on now and it syncs straight in. And people moan about sync now, and if you just line the BPMs up, it's pretty synced anyway. Like, okay, so that you were playing you doing those boat. So the boat parties kicks everything off here, and the Ibiza first. That was a cool start. When did the production start?
Well, to be honest with you, I've been making music ever since I was a kid, because I learned to play the piano first and the violin. So from a very early age, yeah. And I played in an orchestra with the violin when I was young, and did all my grades on the piano. And when I left school, I basically carried on keyboard lessons. And my keyboard teacher was actually into using a 4-track, so recording putting tracks together. So that's when I first started to make music. And obviously, just with 4 tracks, it was obviously quite difficult to do.
Yeah.
And the sad thing is, when I got heavily into DJing, I didn't really get into producing. So I sort of missed out a little bit there, really. But I was so focused on DJing, and obviously doing that was my main thing, and running the events and all that sort of thing. So I didn't really have a massive amount of time for producing at the time. So I really got back into producing in a big way in 2012.
Right, cool. So long gap. Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, massive gap.
I guess when you're doing the parties though, that's kind of all word of mouth, and they were just, you were kind of in that world of just, were they every weekend? Were they?
Well, pretty much. I mean, our own ones were probably twice a month. Then I was obviously DJing elsewhere in between. So, but I mean, it was amazing because we'd put a flyer out, and within a few days it would be sold out. There was no social media or anything like that.
I love her.
It's just mental. And obviously it was such a good atmosphere, and this is when house music really was at its peak back then, and everybody wanted to go, and it was very different to what it is now.
A lot less competition though as well. A lot less parties, lot less DJs, lot less competition, lot less records.
Yeah, I mean, back then there was pretty much only 1 or 2 main brands per city, and we were the main brand for Southampton then.
Yeah.
So it made it much easier, and obviously with the magazine, Mixmag, and there was, I forgot, what was the other one that used to be around? I've forgotten now anyway, but they all used to write about the event, so that obviously made it easier.
That was the social media, the magazines, basically.
Music magazine, that was the other one.
Yeah, music, yeah. Selling Keys says, were they selling tickets through shops, record shops?
Yeah, so we had, it was funny really, we always had a section on the flyer, listing all the
yeah, I remember doing that.
I actually brought my flyers here, actually, just to...
Yay!
Yeah. So I've got loads of flyers here.
Oh, wow, look at them.
Yeah, so I kept them all from over the years. So I don't know if you can see that, right? But there's the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. D-Ream as well, on my days. Yeah. I like the fag packet ones. They're quite cool. They were at the start.
Yeah. And we did a Perfecto summer party. There's a...
Yep.
You see that?
Yeah.
Oakenfold and Digweed. So that was, I think that was 1996, something like that.
Yeah.
And then we started up Slinky in Bournemouth, basically.
Did you? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so Gary and I were brought on board to book the DJs for it. So we brought Oakenfold for one of the opening nights.
Is that because you essentially built the network of playing with all these people and you're doing your own parties and kind of building your own friend base, basically?
Yeah, so back then, obviously, a lot of the big DJs would only play for one brand in a city or in that area. So obviously, we had a good deal with some of the big DJs like Sasha and Digweed and Oakenfold and all that. So there was no way Slinky could book those DJs without us involved, and that's what they brought forward. Yeah. So and then obviously that grew massive, and we left to do our own thing basically, really, and we were doing all sorts of stuff after that. We were hosting nights at Ministry of Sound and Club UK and places like that, basically.
That's really cool. I didn't realise you were involved in Slinky. That's mad. And that was at the Opera House, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
That's mental. That's really cool. Okay, so then what years? Where are we up to? Like years now? Are we still late 90s, early noughties? Is that time period?
Yeah. And so I basically I carried on DJing. I left Menage a Trois 2003. Carried on doing a few bits and pieces. I did actually scale it down for a while, for about 5 years, and then got back into it. And then 2012, I got into producing, and then 2013 created Krafted with Darren Braddock.
Yeah, wicked. Because you mentioned about playing piano and playing instruments. Were your parents in musical?
My mum is, but she doesn't play any instruments. She's just into music.
Yeah.
My dad's into music, but not in a massive way. He used to listen to a lot more when he was younger, not so much now.
What was playing, and then what did you have in your house when you were younger?
Things like Dire Straits.
Nice.
Yeah, Phil Collins.
Nice. Love it.
Yeah. Bit of money for
nothing. Yeah, love it. Oh, yeah. That's cool. I love that. Yeah, I love all that. My mum was always Queen in the Carpenters. And it was always Queen in the Carpenters, and that was literally in the house all the time.
Oh, Queen, remember that? Amazing, weren't they?
Yeah, incredible. Like, yeah, I feel like, whenever you watch that Queen, I love watching them. I think half this disco shit. I think half this disco shit is a little bit Freddie and a little bit stupid.
That film they made was just amazing. Yeah, the story behind them.
Yes, I enjoyed that so much. I've watched that a couple of times. Okay, so should we play a record? Should we start with a record? We picked the first. Are we going the first one off the first? We got You and Sunscreem. Perfect Motion is our first one. Tell us about this record. When did it happen? Where did it happen? Is there any cool stories around it? And then we'll play it.
It's funny actually how that came about, because we were doing an event in London, and I played the original of Perfect Motion basically, and. There was a friend of mine in the crowd dancing away, and she came up to me and said, "You're not going to believe this, but I actually know know Sunscreem." And I was like, "No way!" And Sunscreem were just, all their tracks were massive for me back in the 90s, and then when their first albums came out, and I just chanced my arm and said to her, "I don't suppose you'll introduce me to them, would you?" And she said, "Yeah, definitely." So she did, and I spoke to Lucia and Paul. And I just said, any chance that I could do a remix for you and remix Perfect Motion? And they said yes. I mean, obviously they checked me out first.
Yeah.
Up to. I couldn't believe it when they said I could do it. Sent me all the stems and everything. So I worked on that, and we agreed that it would come out on Krafted, which was amazing to be able to have that on our label as well. And I ended up actually going to a few BBC stations with them, doing a bit of live performance.
Oh, no way!
It was brilliant. Yeah, amazing.
I think I remember Sunscreen. I think I had one of the vinyl of Sunscreen. Yeah, I don't know which one it was, but right, let's get this on. Let's do it.
Pulling me up into the
we go. That was banging. Let's give that a little round.
That's what I need.
There's a good... yeah. Always. There's a nice question in the chat there. Skeleton Keys, how much did you lean on your musical upbringing when you started producing?
Well, obviously, it was a massive, massive help. Being able to play the piano, especially, just made it so much easier for me to create chord structures and all that sort of thing. So, having a bit of musical understanding and knowledge is obviously a massive, massive thing, really, to be able to make music. But obviously, it was a massive learning curve to learn Ableton, because that's what I use, basically. Took a long time to get into that. I don't think you ever stop learning it, really.
No, definitely not. Do you think that kind of musical, that kind of, because you're talking about chord productions and you've got musical background, that influenced the direction of your choices of what you're producing, what you put out, and or has that just come from a kind of lifetime of where you started in music and the loves you started with?
No, I think it has a massive influence, because when you listen to my stuff, it's sort of more on the uplifting progressive side rather than deep progressive that most people tend to relate progressive house to. I have a lot of big melodies, and it's almost edging on trance, really, what I'm making. So it's just not as fast as trance. That's all. And sometimes, sometimes I feel it works against me because it's too musical. It's stupid. I know it's stupid to say, but the music I make doesn't always appeal to the underground DJs. So, but at the end of the day, that's my sound. So.
And then, so you mentioned that you started Krafted in 2012? Is that what you said?
2013 started it.
2013, yeah. Wow, it's 10 years old as well. Wow, congrats.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah, so we're going to be celebrating in October this year, basically.
What was the plan then? How did that start? Let's talk through Krafted.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, initially it was really made because I didn't know where I was going to release music. And I thought the easiest thing to do was create my own label, basically. And so it's actually started off as EJ Underground. And Darren was already running Endemic Digital, which was Wes Saunders' label, basically, at the time.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So, and we basically sort of knew each other from the rave days, but never really. It was weird. It was so weird how it came about. And he got asked to do an event at Brighton Music Conference, right. 10 years ago. So,
wow.
And he asked me if I'd be interested in hosting the event with him. So that's when we did that together, and it went really well, and it was really busy, and we thought we worked well together. So that we both said, why don't we join forces, run the labels together? So we still kept the old names, and then we soon realised it needed to be one brand. And I was DJing in San Francisco at the time, and I met up the guys from Proton, because that's where they're based. And I got loads of good advice then, because obviously I'd never run a label before in my life. I had no idea what I was doing. And they gave me so much good advice. And they said, look, you should have one brand name. So everybody, when they want to look you up, there's just that one name that they go online and they can find you. And even, because at the time we had all these different labels and all like different names, and it was a bit confusing. So that's when we came up with the Krafted name, basically. And we still kept the various few labels, but we renamed them, basically. So Endemic Digital became Krafted Digital, and EJ Underground became Krafted Underground, basically. So that's how it all started.
Right, gotcha. That's cool. And then how's the land like today? Is it still the two labels still? And then what's the variation across the two?
Yeah, so basically Krafted Underground is, I suppose, like the mother label. It's the one that's got the bigger names that are on it. It's more progressive house. We're still doing some albums on there and stuff, but Krafted Digital is now more organic house, really, and deep house.
Gotcha.
And we've got Krafted Records, which Simon runs, and that's the more chilled side. We have had a few organic house releases on there, but that's got chill albums and some artist albums on there as well.
That's cool.
And we're going to be releasing our first drum and bass release on there as well, actually, in May. So yeah, so that'll be interesting.
I heard this. I heard Shelley said to ask you about drum. Where are we going? How did this happen? How did the drum and bass movement happen?
Well, Simon and I have always liked liquid drum and bass, to be honest. And myself, I've been looking for a different avenue. I've been doing progressive house for a long time, as you know, and that's why I'm on here. But I thought, well, let's give it a go. And Simon was the same. He wanted to have a go and see how it went. And so we came up with a new name for our duo, and which was Visac. And basically, we've come up with this track called Fly, and we've got Anna B singing on it, who we featured on Radio 1 last year. Track, and she's been on a track for me on Perfecto as well. Nice. And really, really pleased with the way it's come out. So we're actually working on more. I spent Sunday working on some drum and bass as well. Funny enough.
Wow. So and this is going to be a full on project, a full on. Will you still do the prog thing, or were you?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Nice.
Yeah. So sort of juggling projects really at the moment.
Nice.
Yeah.
I always, you get a lot of DJs and producers that kind of go, they'll just release everything. But I think it's definitely wise to put it as separate projects and separate names and keep it kind of very, like you say, very, because it is confused. Sometimes, like you're saying before, it's confused. Trying to make it less confusing is always the one, like simplify everything to the max.
Definitely. Well, when I first started, I was making tech out. I had a couple of releases on Toolroom. And still doing the prog thing as well. And it was weird because everybody would come onto my Beatport who had possibly bought my Toolroom track, and then they would be like, well, what's all this other music on it? So, you have got to keep to that same sound, really, and have different pseudonyms for your different genres of music. I think that works the best.
Yeah, agreed. There was a person I was chatting to last night, and they were like, I've made one track and I've got it on all these like Instagram influencers, and I was like, is it the music you're playing? And he went, no, I just made it and it was fun, and I've got like 100 million views on this track because I luckily got it on a car Instagram, and it fitted car Instagrams really well. And I was like, and he was like, he's going, I'm getting all these things for bookings now, and I'm like, do you want to play that music? And he's like, not really, no. And I was like, why did you put it? Why did you do that then?
Doesn't make sense, does it? Really, to be honest.
And he was like, I don't know. And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. So all that exposure is wasted in a way.
Yeah, massively. Because he's like, he doesn't want to play it. He doesn't want to, like, all that. I suppose it's not a waste because he's learned something from it. But yeah, holy moly. Yeah. Anyway, digressing. Should we play this drum and bass track?
Yeah. Why not?
Right, that's all you're getting. You have to wait for the rest. That's all you're getting.
Awesome on there, though, doesn't she?
Yeah, amazing. What a lovely voice. Oh my God, amazing. That's such a nice drum and bass track as well. Well done, man. That sounds really cool.
Thank you.
I'm going to listen to the rest afterwards. You lot can't have any more. That's it. You've got to wait. You can have 45 seconds. That's it.
Yeah, so
give it the rave on though. Let's go back to so where were we on our timeline? So you got to 2000 and your 2002 you're still doing boat parties, doing Slinky, and then you said you had a bit of a break. Was that just kind of personal, just back to life? And
it was a bit of a funny one, really. I think the scene had changed then, and obviously it all gone quite digital, and I didn't really get into the whole digital thing for ages. So when I actually came back, it was quite weird. It was almost like having to learn everything again. Not so much learning to mix, but learning on the new decks that were out. It was almost like I'd lost a little bit of a tiny bit of the era of the change from vinyl to digital.
Yeah, because that properly happened. Like I'm thinking, like that 2000 when I started at Turnmills, that was 2003. There was definitely a vinyl digital. That was start of the vinyl digital crossover. I remember Paul Oakenfold came he came to Turnmills. He was playing that one night, and he literally wanted to move to digital that day. And it was like he just we were literally teaching him how to burn CDs and sort of putting music on. He'd got a load of tracks that he wanted to put on a CD, and it was like we were having to basically help him learn how to use the CDJs and showing him the CDJs. And I remember that happening. That was later, I think, because he was quite late as well.
Yeah, I was quite pleased when it moved from CDs to MP3s because carrying all those bloody CDs around.
Oh God, they were heavy, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, obviously not as bad as record boxes, but Jesus Christ, it didn't take much for them to get scratched and not be able to use them.
And they never went back in the same. Mine always never managed to make it back into the same where they came out of, and then you'd have like this CD that had like a random mark on it, or just like. I had this weird lettering system that was just like, and I had to try and match the weird letter up to the sleeve because I couldn't be asked to write all the names on the. I literally only had the tracks on a piece of paper in the slip thing. Yeah,
one of the things I hated most because when I was playing vinyl, you'd know the track just from the sleeve,
yes,
or just the writing on it, and it was easy. You knew what you were picking out of your record box. You put a CD in, and it's just a name on the screen. It was like, Jesus, I don't know what this track is. So it was horrible. I didn't like it.
Definitely had to, that was a second whole like that was part of that learning from the move over, wasn't it? It was like I know what you're saying. Like you just flick through your records and go, well, that you knew where records were because of which colour they were next to. Like I know that a certain record's next to a yellow one before it, and you'd go to that yellow one. Oh, there it is. Great.
Yeah, and I organised my record box so that it would be at the front, it would be the more warm-up type stuff, and at the back you knew it was the full-on peak time records basically.
Yeah.
But it's all changed. I'm used to it now.
Yeah.
Well, I'd hope so anyway.
Yeah, there was a mad period of time because there was the whole changeover. The scene was like I was fully into the electro side, then it went really minimal, but there was a kind of prog scene there. It was a minimal or prog, and it was kind of there was two scenes then, and then you came back in 2012. It just went properly. What were you planning in 2012? Because is that what you were doing the Toolroom thing?
Yeah, so I was doing quite a lot of tech house then. Basically, I still like progressive and still really was making a bit progressive and playing a little bit and mixing it up a little bit. But I really like tech house, and I thought I was going to pursue that genre, but I decided against it in the end. To be honest, it wasn't absolutely my thing. As much as we got on really well with Toolroom, we were licensing tracks to them for their compilation albums from Krafted Digital, basically, because that was more tech house then. And I was a guest on Mark Knight's show, and I played prog on the show actually. To be honest, so that was quite unusual for them.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've stayed friends with Toolroom, and but we just don't really do so much with them anymore.
Well, like early label, were you releasing vinyl then, and you had the label, you vinyl and digital? Where are you now? Were you all digital, or are you?
No, it's always been digital. To be honest.
Oh, really?
We've never bothered with the vinyl route. I think that's quite a niche market. I think if we were releasing techno, it might be a different story. There's still quite a lot of techno DJs playing vinyl, but. Yeah, it's not really for prog DJs and all that sort of thing, really. I have got I've got a CD version of my album.
Oh yeah, I saw. Right, let's have a look at it. Yeah, it's a CD. Go back. Oh wow, it's a triple
CD. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I don't even have a CD player anymore. It's really weird. I was trying to find one the other day, and I used to have one in the car, but I don't even have one anywhere now.
Well, I tried to give away some of these to my family, and they were saying, well, I've got nothing to play it on.
Were they expensive to do a CD run?
Actually, they weren't too bad, to be honest. A couple of £100 for 100 CDs. So,
wow.
Not too bad at all, really.
That's really cool.
But yeah, we should give away a few.
Let's do it. Let's do it. One's in the chat if you want a copy, and then what I'll do is we can put all the names onto a spinner, and then we'll get the spinner on the go. We'll get spinner. We've got Spinneroony basically. Do you know about Spinneroony?
No.
We have a giant spinner.
Oh, cool.
Called Spinneroony for obvious reasons. Right. What we'll do is while we'll play the next track, number 2 on our list, and then I'll write all the names on Spinaroonie, and we can get Spinaroonie turns Rooney's around. There's Rooney's face. There we go. What do you think so far, Rooney? Rubbish. Okay, great. I'll let's get that. We'll do that in a minute.
Oh, that was someone I know that said about that's 200 gone. Cheers, Mark.
Right, what's the next track? The next track is Nick Muir's remix of Nemesis, which is your track. Tell us about this one, and I'll play this, and then I'll write the names on.
Yeah, I mean, this one actually goes back to 2018. So this was a single release on Krafted Underground, and we'd already had Nick Muir on a remix from a few years before that, and I've always obviously really liked Nick's production. For obvious reasons, and so I really wanted him on one of my releases, and this was the first one that he did a remix for me called Nemesis, a really good version of the original. So
let's play this, and I'll get these names on. Let's do this. That was great. Holy moly. Let's give that a little... Right, I filled in the Spinaroonie, and I literally went through loads of people that put yes, and I've thought of some others that were in the chat that didn't hear me the first time, but maybe they were on a call, so I put them on there as well. And I've got a couple of spin agains because we've got a couple of spaces. So this is for the CD and the speedboat. Let's do it. You ready? Let's move. Actually, I need to move this thing here. There we go. Right, ready? Let's see who wins it. Ready? Oh, we got a little drum roll. We have. Hang on. Oh, spin again! Oh, that's shit. Oh, what's that fell off? Something fell off. Oh, all the bits are falling off. Oh, no! Skeleton keys. There you go. A couple of the bits fell off. Skeleton keys is the winner.
Brilliant.
There we go. Look, some of the things are falling off. That's a bit rubbish. Oh, no. My spinner. I'll fix it after. But yeah, there you go. Yay, skeleton keys. Should we do it? Have we got another one? Should we do it again? Let me just put these on so people can win, because otherwise it won't stop. Should we do? Can we do a second one?
Yeah, let's do it. I've got enough here.
Yeah. Oh, he's got enough. Right, good. Let's do a second one. Do it proper soon. Surround sound. He said, "Come on, purple."
Yeah, he did.
Look at that. There you go. We'll maybe do one more later. There's two done there. Those guys message. Just you pause on here. Whisper Paul. There you go. Send them your details.
Yeah.
They'll send you a whisper. That'll be much quicker.
Okay.
Well done, you guys. Right. So that was. Yeah, they can erase one. Well done, you all. Well done. Okay, so that remix was lovely, mate. Really cool. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, Nick Muir is definitely the king of builds. That's for sure.
Yeah, 100%. One of the things you're doing this year is your 30-hour. You've done it, or you're doing a 30-hour radio stream. 30 hours. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I have done that already. So that was on DIFM. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that took a lot of work putting that together, I've got to say. With 29 DJs plus myself, making sure we got every single show in time and organising everything and getting the artwork ready and all that sort of stuff. It was quite time consuming, but well worth it in the end.
Did you stay up for the whole 30 hours?
No. I'd like to say yes, but I didn't. No. No, I did listen to every single show. I mean, luckily it's all available on demand still as well. So,
that's great.
I listened to it.
And are they all up online? They're on Dark. Yeah. That Dark Plant said he really enjoyed the set. Skirlam said there are some really cool sets that day. That's epic. That's really cool. And you had sets from Paul Oakenfold, Kristina Sky, Dave Seaman, Anthony Pappa, and more. That's really cool.
Yeah. So brilliant lineup of DJs. Lots of people that obviously I've connected with over the years, and so it was nice to get them all involved. But yes, you can go on the DIFM website, and if you just type in the Paul Sawyer 30 years, it will come up, and you can listen to all of the shows. So it's quite handy; they're all there available.
From a label point of view, how are you signing? Are you still signing? Are you still signing music? How are you signing music? How do people get? What do you have tips for getting demos signed for yourself?
Yeah. So we've got an A&R guy that looks after Krafted Underground called Fran. So I do look after the A&R with him for that side, and Darren and Paul Moore look after Krafted Digital, and Simon Sinfield looks after Krafted Records. But yeah, I mean, it's info@krafted.co.uk. You can get hold of us and send in the demos. We always prefer that they're not sent to anybody else. You get all these. Nice. I had one last night, funny enough, and it was someone had used MailChimp. So straight away it's gone out to about 50 or 60 bloody labels all in one hit.
Wow, this is a new one. MailChimp demo sending. Wow.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, why would you do that?
It's so obvious as well.
Yeah.
As soon as you get a MailChimp demo, you'd be like you say, that's gone to 50 people.
Yeah, so I just didn't even bother opening it. It's just pointless.
That's a whole new level of lazy.
Yeah, but we're still signing stuff. I mean, we've got compilation albums, so we're always on the lookout for those as well.
That's cool.
And
I see some Krafted people. Ascari's here. Hey, dude, he's in the chat. I see he's a release as Krafted. That's cool.
Yeah, he has. Yeah. So our Textures albums, we have got one coming out soon, actually in May. So we always have about sort of 25 to 30 tracks on there. We do that twice a year, and the Chill album.
That's cool.
Once or twice a year as well. So yeah, there's loads of scope for sending in different types of music.
That's cool. Do you prefer that people say in their email that they're pitching for a certain sound on a certain label, or does it matter? Does it not matter?
I think, to be honest with you, I think it's important because it means that they've done their homework and actually looked at what we do. Because as a label, we've had people sending in demos which are just not the sort of music we would release, and you just think, well, why would you even send it to us? It's just silly, really. And you can't take somebody seriously if they're not really looking into what you're actually doing. That's what I always think.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree massively. Yeah, I've seen it loads of times. Even on our demo stream on Monday. We had demo stream on Monday, and there was people dropping in. We had a deep tech minimal label, and we had a trap dropped into the. And it's like, come on, spend a little bit of time.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay, let's play another track because I'm conscious we've done what we normally do, gang, in the chat, shed heads. We've listened to 2 tracks of the 8 in an hour and 5 minutes. We're synonymous for not playing any music. We used to do a music stream on a Friday and play 4 records in an hour. We've hit a whole new level of not playing any music. We've done 2, which is brilliant. Right, let's play another track. So Blue Amazon. Then the Rain Falls, and this is your remix. Wow, do you like doing remixes?
I do. I love doing remixes. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm a little bit picky with what I remix because I obviously need to enjoy the track in the first place. And the Blue Amazon one was something that I used to play out in the 90s, basically the original. And I'd never actually met Lee until I started the label. And we got chatting online, and obviously I said to him that I used to play a lot of his stuff, and that's when he said, would you be up for remixing one of my tracks? And of course that one was like my favourite that he actually made originally, so that's the one I asked for, basically.
What's the process when you start doing a remix? Where do you start? What do you look for?
So the first thing I always do is chuck out all the drums. I always put my own drums to any track. Pick out the main hook. Obviously, that needs to stay in there. Otherwise, it just it's a new track. Otherwise, without that, the bass line, obviously, and then obviously just build around that and put your own spin on it, basically.
That's cool. Okay, let's play this one. There we go. That was bloody epic. How did you go about selecting the tracks from 30 years of music? Where did you start? Like, what was the process?
Well, obviously it was quite difficult because I've had a lot of releases over the years. So narrowing it down to 30 was a difficult one. But there were some obvious ones that I really wanted in there, like the Blue Amazon remix and the Perfect Motion one, because obviously they were such big remixes for me, really. I mean, I spent ages trying to get it down to those 30, going backwards and forwards, and I wanted it to be a bit of a journey as well. So there's some of the more melodic techno type stuff that I've released that's in there, and then it builds up, and then on the last track for the album, it's like a cinematic chill out remix of one of my releases, which I thought was a perfect way to end the album.
Nice.
Yeah, so and that's got Hannah singing on it. That's on the drum and bass track that you played earlier.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So it's worth checking out. It's a really good remix.
That's really cool. Yeah, I guess it would have been Did you have a long list and then that went to a short list and then a shorter list and then finally? Oh my days.
Yeah. It was the same when I did the 30-hour radio show. It took me ages to get it down to 30. You know, I wrote out a list and I must have had 100 DJs on there, and of course, you get to know so many people over the years and so many great DJs, and you feel bad letting people, not letting people do it. It's terrible. But,
oh my God.
Yeah, but obviously, you needed the bigger names in there to have the impact. When you're sending out the press release, nobody's going to take any notice of it if you haven't got any big names on there. So
you need the hitters. You always need the hitters.
That's it. I know. Yeah. So so obviously having a remix on there that I did for Paul Oakenfold was quite a big thing as well, and that was exclusive to the album as well.
Wow. Well, we'll play that in a bit. We'll play that in a bit. While we're talking radio, let's talk about Radio 1. You had a 6-show residency. Was that right? In 2022? Firstly, congratulations. Secondly, how the hell did you do that? Because that's really flipping cool. And are you going to do it again?
Yeah, so I mean, we've done 2 6-month residencies actually, and we did a one-off show January this year. That only really came about because I'm friends with Jay, who is one of the producers on the station basically, and I'd never really pushed for anything on Radio 1, and I'd meet with Jay at ADE every year. And he would be there with Danny Howard because that was the main show he was producing basically. And just got on really well, and we'd have beers and stuff. And out of the blue, I think it was December 2020, basically he emailed. And of course, it was right in the middle of the pandemic, and I'd lost a bit of interest in the whole music scene because it had all fallen apart. Obviously, there was no clubs, and I didn't really know what I was going to be doing. And I thought, I don't know, I was even thinking about giving up. And,
no way.
It was mad. It was really mad timing. And this email came through saying, would you be interested in doing a residency on Radio 1? I was like, bloody hell, that's just unreal. It's just a dream come true. I mean, I remember when Pete Tong did his first ever show on Radio 1 for the Central Selection. I remember exactly where I was. That's quite mental, really. Listening to it and thinking, wow, this is just the future.
Yeah.
So then to obviously get asked to go on there was quite nice, and obviously we could bring on some of the artists that are signed to Krafted to host a show. Yeah, so that was really nice, and they said that we could use 70% of Krafted music. So obviously the royalties that we get off of that was really good as well. Yeah. So we're going to be back on there. Just waiting for the next date to come through. So yeah, really lucky.
That's very, very cool. Oh, that's very cool. Cards fell in place. Yeah, it's right. Skeleton Keys.
Yeah.
Loz says that would kick off the inspiration again. Yeah, it surely would. And it was only this time last year, Loz. We were talking about being on Radio 1. We announced we were going to be on Radio 1 this time last year, and sent the world nuts. But we weren't. It was.
Oh, I remember the wind up. Yeah, April Fool's Day, wasn't it?
Yeah, excited.
Yeah.
Loz, my assistant, went into his hairdressers in Daventry, and people were asking about that he was being on Radio 1. It's so funny. And then let's chat BBC Introducing, because do you get a lot of love from BBC Introducing? Do you find it as a good marketing tool for your releases? Do you use it a lot?
Yeah, I do. To be honest with you, I've been chasing BBC Introducing for years. Never got anywhere. Just kept uploading my tracks. And then all of a sudden, they jumped on one of my releases, and this was about 3 years ago. And now they play every single one of my releases. To be honest, it's quite lucky. So, and I always try and encourage people that are signed to Krafted to make sure they upload to BBC Introducing. It's always worth doing. It's a brilliant bit of you never know what's going to come out of the back of it, and who's going to start playing it as a result. So I think it's a brilliant tool. To be honest, it's a shame that they're thinking about dropping it.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So they're looking at dropping it at the moment. So it's a real shame.
That's sad.
Yeah.
Have you found a way of around? Because obviously it's only UK-based people, isn't it? And is that right? Am I thinking?
It is, but there is a way you can get around that.
How do you get around it from an international point of view?
Well, if you're an international producer, collaborate with a UK producer and get them to submit it.
Ah, yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. You need to collaborate, look and listen. Yeah, there you go.
What I like about BBC Introducing is, like, when I've collaborated with a couple of people, you get every single person to submit it, because they're probably all in different areas. So you're doubling up or even tripling your radio play. So it's so worth doing.
That's a great idea. That's a cheeky little tip there. Love that. Yeah, you do get because it's location based, isn't it? So if like, wow, there you go. So you strategically work out your collabs. The other thing about BBC Introducing, it's a great piece of content as well, because obviously it still says BBC Radio 1, and you're going to click on it and listen to it if it says Radio 1.
Yeah. I mean, that you can obviously send your music directly to some of the producers. People like We Are Grape, who produce Sarah Story Show and Jaguar and all those sort of people. And it's quite easy to track down their email addresses, to be honest, if you know who you're looking for.
LinkedIn is your friend.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I don't even use LinkedIn, to be honest. It's just a matter of asking around and getting the names that you need, and it's surprising who you can find.
Okay, let's play another track. Where are we up to? You and Jan Johnston, One Step Beyond. Tell me about this record.
So this was basically one of 3 releases I did with Jan.
Nice.
I used to love Jan on stuff that she used to do with BT, and she did Skydive with Anthony Pappa, which was obviously one of the biggest tracks from the 90s.
That's right. I remember that track. Yes.
Yeah. So I can't really remember how we got talking, but we were chatting, and basically she offered to come and sing on one of my tracks, and so then we ended up doing 3.
Were they recorded at the same time? Were they recorded all at the same time, or over a period?
No, it was over a period. So the first one was called Circle, and this is the second one. And then the third one was Right Place, Right Time, basically. And obviously I was struck up quite a good relationship with Jan, and she lives in Spain, and we brought her over basically for a Krafted event in Bournemouth, actually. Well, she came and sang live and sang the tracks live as well, which was amazing to hear.
That's so sick.
Yeah, really good. But she's got some proper fans that come and watch her sing everywhere she goes.
Wow, that's really cool. So that's super cool. Yeah, you're right, me. Wow, that is super cool. Love that. And how do you work with vocalists? How does that work for you? What's the process?
Well, I've done it two ways actually. I've made tracks and then sent them to vocalists to add a top line.
Yep.
Which obviously works quite well. And I've actually worked on a cappellas that they've sent over based on just a lead, like a piano or a guitar background. And then I build a track around it, basically, which is a bit more long-winded. But I don't mind either way, to be honest.
That's cool. Right, let's play this track then.
And could you distract me so nothing of me is left behind? Distract me so nothing of me is left behind. I begin again, make it belong to me. Shook out the past. Ask the cool hunter in me. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? Begin again, make it belong to me. Shook out the past. Ask the cool hunter in me. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? Now I know I want to go. One step beyond.
There we go. That was a big ass vocal, big track, lovely. Loads of nice comments in the chat. Soundscaping is huge on this. Has a nice dubby vibe. Needs more trumpets.
Never have enough trumpet.
Skeleton Keys, we need to know what Paul's top 5 plugins and synths are. That's a great question. I was going to ask that anyway, but let's get it in there.
Okay, all right. Well, I mainly use Silent and Complete, and there's a plugin that I use quite a lot called VPS Avenger. So that's got massive synth sounds in that. It's awesome. And there's a plugin I use called Boost, which is absolutely brilliant. It's got loads of presets for giving you stereo width and stuff like that, basically. And EQ wise is what I use for EQ and everything. So they're probably my top 5 actually.
Lars asked, quick question on BBC introducing Paul Sawyer. When you get spins on Radio 1 introducing with Jaguar, do they have to be radio edits?
Yeah, you are better off sending radio edits. They do limit the size of the file that you can upload to BBC Introducing anyway. So if you try and put an extended version on there, it's probably not going to fit. So the radio edits are much better off being sent. You've got more chance of them being played as well, because the last thing they want to do is get 8 or 9 minute tracks being sent over, because they just chop the start and finish off. You need to have your track have a bit of impact straight off from the start, so the radio edit is the way forward for that.
Right, let's play another record. Meridian. I told you we'd run out of time. Meridian, tell me about this one.
Okay, so Meridian was originally out on Pure Trance, basically.
Yeah.
And it was 2018 actually, again. And I basically had a track out called Poseidon on Krafted Underground, sent it out on promo, and Solar Stone sent me a message on Twitter and said, I really want a track of yours on my label. So I sent him this one, and he basically released it and ended up on Pure Trance 7 album as well, which Kristina Sky mixed. Amazing. So, had a lot of plays, did really well on the Beatport chart, went top 10, so that was quite good. Really, really pleased with this one. I'd love to make some more like this.
Let's do this then. There we go. I'm conscious of time, and I want to get a couple of other tracks in, so we'll fade that one. That sounded amazing, though. It sounded like music I used to listen to in the 90s, and the trancey 90s.
Yeah, it's very much that.
Obviously, when your hobby becomes your kind of life and you're doing it all the time and music becomes all time, what do you like to do for downtime, and what hobbies do you have outside of music, apart from eating donuts?
Yeah, lots of donuts. But yeah, no, I'm into mountain biking, and unfortunately I can't do it at the moment because I broke my bloody collarbone just after Christmas. So it's still broken at the moment. So
no way.
One-handed raving. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, so I can't even get this arm up.
Are you a downhill mountain biker?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so the last 2 years I was actually racing. So that's a bit of a bugger really that I've done what I've done because I've had to have it plated and pinned. So yeah, still recovering from that. So they reckon I'll be recovering till about July. So see what happens then. Get back on the bike.
My friend does that. My friend does mountain biking. He lives in the South Island in New Zealand, and he builds all the trails in the South Island in the Southern Alps. And that literally is his job. He just builds trails, and he has a digger, and he builds all these like mad stairs to go down. And yeah, it's like that. Literally, all he does all day is build trails.
Yeah. They just had Crankworks actually in New Zealand, so that's quite a big.
Yeah, he's probably part of the. Yeah, he does it in the Southern Islands. So if you ever go down there, he'll go back. He loves mountain bike. He's all about it. But yeah, he's always had like when he was living over here, he's always the injuries, and it's like pins all over his body from crashes. So it's fair play. That's a full-on sport.
It is, yeah. I mean, I did motocross for years, from the age of about 11. So I've got loads of injuries to talk about. Everywhere, yeah.
How did you get into that and then mountain biking?
Well, the mountain biking came out really because I wanted to do motocross again, but obviously I'm just a bit too old for it, to be honest. So that was the closest to it. And I got into it just before the pandemic. So obviously during the pandemic, you could go out and exercise and stuff. So that was absolutely perfect. And then obviously the race started. So I basically got into that. And then obviously I had this accident in January, which obviously put play to that for a while. But going back to the whole hobby thing, I mean, the music for me is just such a massive thing. So I do spend a lot of time listening to music. You know, I don't just sit and produce and put DJ sets together. I still listen to music constantly. So obviously I've loved music from an early age. So and I'd listen to all sorts of stuff really, not just house music. But I've been listening. Funny enough, I've been listening to a lot of liquid drum and bass because obviously we've been getting into making it.
Who's on your radar of liquid drum and bass then? Who are you feeling?
Oh God, Etherwood. I absolutely love his stuff. He's amazing.
He came on the stream.
Oh really? Yeah.
Yeah, when his last album came out, that was cool. Yeah, he's a cool dude.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, all of his stuff's brilliant. But yeah, there's so many. I mean, to be honest, I go on Spotify and I said that to Simon the other day. You can tell that drum and bass is such a massive thing because all of the artists have had loads and loads of listens on Spotify, way more than all house music producers. So yeah, it's quite a mad thing really to see.
Yeah, wicked. Oh, yeah, I hear what you're saying because I'm obviously fully in the music, but I do find that I need something that just take myself out of it. I think Pete Griffiths asked me the question a long time ago when I was at Toolroom and I went down for the day, and he was like, that was where this kind of question came from, that you just need a new hobby to once your hobby becomes your day job, you know, just to kind of switch off mentally. And then motocross, do you remember that TV program was it in the 80s or the 90s? What was it called that was like motocross? I used to love that. Me and my brother used to watch that. Kickstart. Do you remember that?
Yeah, in the 80s, yeah. It's funny actually because I knew one of the girls that was on it. I used to race against her. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. So she lives not far from here actually. So yeah, Zoe, her name is. Yeah.
I love that program.
Yeah, God, that was a long time ago.
That was on a Saturday afternoon, wasn't it? I used to love that program.
Well, can you imagine the BBC or ITV letting kids do that now? They would be health and safety mad, wouldn't it?
Oh my God, nothing like that would happen now. Oh my God, there'd be so many complaints. It'd be ridiculous.
Oh,
yeah. Okay, let's play one more record because we're flipping 10-2. Right, Paul Oakenfold, you've just remixed "Monster in Me" featuring Alison Kaplan. This is your remix. How did this come about? Tell me about this.
Well, I suppose the story behind this is, I used to speak to Oakenfold quite a lot years ago, and he used to play for me quite a lot.
Mm.
And we just got chatting again because obviously I was signed to Perfecto and had quite a few releases with them. And he basically said to me he was coming over to England and do I fancy meeting up for dinner in Brighton? So I met up with him, had dinner with him, had a good chat, and told him about the album and the plans for the 30 years. And he said, why don't you do a remix of one of my tracks and you can have it exclusive on the album. So that's how that came about, basically.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So that was brilliant. And obviously nice to see him after quite a few years because I hadn't seen him for years.
Where do you? Because obviously you like you said at the start, you were booking him right at the start. That's a long friendship. That's cool.
Yeah. So from the mid-90s, basically.
That's very cool. Right, let's play this. That's big, dude. Congrats. Where did you start with that remix? Because that's a big remix.
Yeah, I know. Well, to be honest with you, it took me ages to work on that because I did it and redid it because originally it was really, really commercial, and the original was very commercial on this because it was off of Paul's album.
Mm.
And I struggled to get to exactly where I wanted. It took me a while, to be honest, because I just wanted to make sure it wasn't too commercial. Because obviously the vocal is very commercial, and you can't get away from that. So I scrapped the ideas probably 3 or 4 times actually by the time I got to that one. But,
That's cool.
Obviously it was because it was for the album and who it was for. It was the pressure was on as well, really. So
yeah, did you? I was going to say, did you feel that a little bit? Did you feel kind of like?
But it's because Paul was quite instrumental in the remix. I was sending it over to him, and he was coming back with some suggestions and bits he didn't like and all that sort of stuff. So it was really good to work like that with someone like
that's
Oakie.
Cool.
Yeah, because it doesn't happen that often, really, when you're working on remixes. Normally, you're just left on your own devices, and that's it.
Very, very cool. Very cool. I was going to ask, when you mentioned this earlier, you were making tech house when you started, and then where did you switch over to the kind of going back to your root sound and your prog sound, and where did that happen? And then was there a point along that timeline where it sort of just started to click and you found the sound and you found the groove from kind of tech house to where you are now, basically?
Yeah, I think it probably took me a few years, to be honest. I was playing about with various different types of sounds for a while, and I think it was probably a good 3 years after I started making tech house that I realised that I was trying to do something that I wasn't absolutely into and didn't love. I always came back to the sound that I've always loved, and from right back to the 90s, you can hear that influence, I think, in my music.
Massively.
So I can't get away from that. So, and people say that a lot of my stuff's a little bit too classic sounding, but that's me. At the end of the day, I'm an old bugger.
Yeah, but people still you just got to find those listeners and your age demographic of listener, and maybe pick up new fans along the way.
That's it. Yeah, definitely.
What is coming up for the rest of the 30 years? Have you got any more stuff that's planned? More exciting stuff for the rest of the year?
Yeah. So we are going to record a stream actually. That's part of the celebration. We had a meeting on Monday. A few years ago, we linked up with Porsche and did quite a big. Yeah, so we did that with. Actually, you were involved in that, weren't you?
Yeah.
I remember you shared it, didn't you? So Dave Seaman did it with me last time, and we've linked up with Porsche again. We're going to do a stream with them. We're actually doing a little mini festival with them in June.
Sick.
Yeah, so that's quite cool. Simon and I are going to be playing, doing that. So yeah, lots more in the pipeline, but also obviously trying to focus on how we're going to celebrate 10 years of Krafted as well later in the year.
Ah, that's going to be cool. Yeah, so that's October. That's cool.
Yeah.
I guess that'll start October, then go to October the following year. Yeah, it's weird.
We'll
things are... 10 years. Nice.
Yeah.
ADE time. Yeah, you could do an ADE party. There you go.
Yeah.
ADE parties are so difficult to do, though.
Yeah, we've done a few now. The last one was 2019, and you don't make any money doing it.
No.
It's such a struggle, and as much as it's fun and everything, it's it's good for your brand at the end of the day. It's
a lot of ball ache, and you have to start it so early. Like I remember trying to plan one, and a few years ago, and someone was like, "No, you're too late," and that was like I was in like June or July, and they were like, "No, you're too late. You need to start in February," and I'm like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!"
Yeah, you do. Yeah, I mean, we ought to be really sorting out a venue now, but with everything that's going on at the moment, it's not the be all and end all, to be honest. I mean, obviously, it'd be nice if something comes along and we do it, but I'm not gonna go mad. We've done it a few times already, and it is bloody hard work.
Yeah, exactly. Paul Sawyer, thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for being here. Congratulations on 30 years. Yeah, thanks a lot for being here, mate. It's good to see you.
Thanks for the invite. It's good to chat with you. I can't believe how quick that 2 hours has gone.
I know, it flies by, right?
Yeah, Jesus. And we didn't play all the tracks.
I know. We got 6, 7. We got 7 because we played some of that drum and bass track as well. You drum and bass track.
That's all right.
Yeah, we've got 7. That's about right. And they can go on, if you want to go and listen to the album, and not a cake's been eaten. No, it's shame on the cake. I'm gonna go on. I might go and get one of those cakes. They look well nice.
Yeah, that's right. I'm gonna gorge myself in a minute.
Yeah, double cake it. Yeah. Right, good. Loz has been dropping the link to the album. Go and grab it in the chat if you've not grabbed it. It's out now. You can stream it. You can buy it. Go and do that and listen to the whole thing and enjoy 30 tracks of Paul.
And thanks for everybody for joining us. It's brilliant.
If you found this interview interesting, consider giving it a like and a comment. It helps with the YouTube algorithm, and let me know your biggest takeaway below. Don't forget to follow me on Twitch. I'm back on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and you can check out the schedule from the link below as well to see who's coming up in my interview series. I'll see you in the next Twitch stream or the next YouTube video. I'll see you soon. Bye.